Welcome back to AIPRP, everybody. Today we are diving deep into this movie. I'm sure you've heard of Mickey 17.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of buzz around this one.
Yeah.
We got some great sources today from IndieWire, Deadline, The Verge, and of course the trailer.
Have you seen the trailer?
Oh, I've seen the trailer.
Okay, good.
It's wild. So yeah, buckle up. This is not your typical sci-fi film.
This is not your typical sci-fi film. Mickey 17 takes a very dark premise and injects it with this darkly comedic twist, I guess.
Yeah, and the whole idea of expendables being sent to this brutal ice planet,
Huh.
Niflheim.
Huh. Pretty bleak.
Yeah,
Not exactly a vacation spot.
bleak, but I think strangely relatable. Haven't we all felt expendable at work sometimes?
For sure.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But in Mickey 17, they take that to a whole new level. There's this scene in the Verge article where they're basically telling Mickey to just breathe in this potentially deadly atmosphere.
Oh, I remember that. Like
Yeah.
some twisted workplace safety video.
It really is.
And then there's the cloning, Mickey dies, no big deal, just print out another one. Exactly. It's almost casual the way they describe the cloning process. It's just like another HR procedure.
Right.
But that's what's so fascinating about this film. It raises all these questions about the value of life in a future where technology can just replicate it.
And can you imagine the psychological impact on Mickey waking up in a new body every time you die? Talk about an existential crisis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And who better to explore that than Bong Joon-ho?
Oh, yeah. The
Yeah.
mastermind behind Parasite.
We know he's not afraid to tackle complex themes, and from what Deadline is saying, he's really stripping away the technical sci-fi elements of the novel Mickey 7 and focusing on the human story.
Makes sense. And speaking of human stories, let's talk about the guy bringing Mickey to life. Robert Pattinson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been Batman, he's done the time travel thing with Christopher Nolan, but this role sounds like a whole different beast.
Yeah, he told Deadline that the script was deceptively simple, but playing a character with zero self-confidence, who is essentially a walking, talking copy, was definitely a challenge. He compared Mickey to a poorly trained dog who needs to die 17 times to finally learn something.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that great?
That's a fantastic analogy.
Yeah.
But it also kind of hints at a potential character arc here.
It does.
Like, is Mickey learning and evolving with each death? Is he retaining memories? Are all the Mickey's the same?
So many questions.
So many questions.
And that's just scratching the surface.
Right.
Bong Joon-ho is known for his very distinct directing style, Deadline, even called Mickey 17 his next groundbreaking cinematic experience.
If you love deep dives like this one, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to AIPRP for more explorations of pop culture. We'll be right back with more on Mickey 17.
All right, so we're back digging deeper into Mickey 17. We talked about the premise, the director, the star, but what are some of the bigger ideas at play here?
Yeah, what makes this more than just another sci-fi action flick?
Right.
Well, IndieWire hinted at some pretty heavy themes.
Yeah.
Class inequality, exploitation, the ethics of cloning, this whole concept of an expendable workforce. It feels uncomfortably relevant, don't you think?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Makes you think about things like the gig economy automation, how workers are increasingly seen as disposable,
Oh, yeah.
but in this case, they're literally disposable.
Right, and replaceable.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the brilliance of Bong Joon-ho comes in.
Totally.
He's not just throwing these cool sci-fi ideas at us. He's forcing us to confront some uncomfortable truths about our own society.
Yeah.
You know, Deadline mentioned that he actually uses real-time editing on set,
Oh, wow.
which is pretty unusual.
Yeah, that's right. And apparently it was quite an adjustment for Pattinson, who is used to more traditional filming.
Yeah.
But I think that just shows you the level of control Bong has over the story. He's not just directing a film, he is crafting an experience.
And it sounds like it's going to be a visually stunning experience.
Mhm.
Pattinson even compared the scale of the production to a giant Star Wars film.
Wow.
That's a big statement.
It is. But I think what sets Bong apart is that he's not just interested in spectacle.
Right.
He's interested in the human cost of that spectacle.
Yeah.
You know, the way he described Mickey as this ordinary, powerless, and vulnerable young man stuck in an extreme job, it really points to that emotional core of the film.
Yeah, and it's like he's taking this outlandish sci-fi concept and grounding it in these very real human emotions.
Huh.
Fear, desperation, the desire to survive.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to the cloning.
Yeah.
How does the constant threat of death, or rather the lack of consequence for death, change a person?
It's the big question, isn't it? And the trailer really plays with that blend of humor and horror that Bong is known for.
Yeah.
You see Mickey dying, being resurrected, and it's almost played for laughs.
Yeah.
But then there are these moments, these glimpses of existential dread in Pattinson's eyes that really stick with you.
Yeah, you can really feel that underlying tension.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes you wonder, What's going on inside Mickey's head?
Mhm.
Are all the clones the same? Do they retain memories? Do they develop their own personalities?
I don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
Right.
And I think that's what makes Mickey 17 such an intriguing film. It's asking these big, thought-provoking questions,
Absolutely.
but it's doing it within the framework of this thrilling, visually spectacular sci-fi adventure.
Yeah, it's Bong Joon-ho, so you know it's going to be more than just popcorn entertainment.
Exactly.
So, okay, now for the big question. When can we actually see this movie?
Well, after some delays, it looks like it's finally premiering at the Berlinale in February, which is huge.
That's exciting.
It is.
And then it hits theaters in Korea on February 28th, followed by the U.S. release on March 7th. We are so close.
I know, so close.
And speaking of close, Robert Pattinson's actually going to Korea for the first time to promote the film.
Yeah, Deadline mentioned how excited he is about it.
That's great.
Yeah, and you can tell from his interviews that he really believes in this project,
That's awesome.
which makes me even more excited to see it.
Before we wrap up our deep dive, if you're loving this exploration of Mickey 17, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to AIPLP for more insightful deep dives into pop culture. Okay, let's finish strong.
Right.
What makes this film so anticipated, aside from, the whole Oscar-winning director thing?
Well, I think it's the potential. Mickey 17 has the potential to be more than just a great film. It has the potential to be a cultural moment, a film that sparks conversations, challenges our assumptions,
Yeah.
and maybe even stays with us long after the credits roll.
Okay, I'm sold. March 7th can't come soon enough.
Hmm.
Now back to the film. We've covered a lot of ground, but there is still one key element we haven't really touched on: the source material.
Right, Edward Ashton's novel, Mickey 7.
We know the film is adapted from it, but how closely is Bong Joon-ho sticking to the book?
That is the big question. Deadline mentioned that he's focusing more on the human element, but they didn't really give us any plot specifics.
Yeah, they're keeping it under wraps.
Yeah, which is good. Keeps the suspense up.
It does, but this raises an interesting question. Let's say you've read Mickey 7. Do you think going in knowing the source material will actually enhance or maybe even detract from the film experience?
Oh, that's a good question. Part of me thinks that going in blind would heighten the impact,
Oh, yeah.
because Bong is known for his twists and turns, so not knowing what's coming could make it even more thrilling.
I see your point.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, if you've read the book, you might pick up on these subtle changes that Bong has made,
Oh, for sure.
which adds another layer of analysis.
Absolutely. It becomes like a game of spot the difference.
Yeah.
Seeing how he's translating these themes and ideas from page to screen.
This brings up a bigger conversation about adaptations in general.
Yes.
Is a film ever really faithful to its source material? Should it even be?
That's a debate as old as time.
I know.
Some argue that adaptations should be judged on their own merits.
Yeah, separate from the book.
Right, exactly. While others see it as a betrayal if the film strays too far from the original story.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance.
It is.
Personally, I think a good adaptation takes the essence of the source material
Mm.
and reinterprets it for a new medium.
I agree with you. It's not about being a carbon copy.
Right.
It's about capturing the spirit, the themes, that emotional core of the story.
And I think Bong Joon-ho, with his track record,
yeah.
he's the perfect director to do that.
Absolutely. He's proven time and time again that he can take these complex narratives and make them accessible and engaging for a wide audience.
Right. And let's not forget the visual aspect. I mean, this is going to be a feast for the eyes.
It is.
The trailer alone is stunning.
It really is.
And, Pattinson's descriptions of the scale of the production
Oh, yeah.
just adds to the anticipation.
Absolutely. I think this film has the potential to be a landmark achievement in sci-fi cinema.
It really does. Combining Bong's artistic vision with this thought-provoking premise and a stellar cast,
Yeah.
I think is a recipe for something really special.
I agree. And for those who haven't checked out Mickey 7 yet,
Yeah.
the book is a great read in its own right. It'll give you some context for the film and spark some interesting discussion.
For sure. Now, before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you said earlier about the film's potential to be a cultural moment.
Yes.
I really do believe that Mickey 17 has the power to spark conversations about the future of work, the ethics of technology, and what it even means to be human in this increasingly automated world.
It's true, those themes are so relevant today. And Bong's ability to weave them into this compelling narrative is what makes him such a masterful filmmaker.
Yeah, it's not just entertainment.
Right.
It's social commentary disguised as a thrilling sci-fi adventure.
Exactly. And that's why we are so excited about this film. It's going to make us think, it's going to make us feel, and it might even make us question some of our own assumptions.
So AIPOP fam, we've explored the premise, the director, the cast, the themes. We even touched on the source material. What are your final thoughts? Are you as hyped for Mickey 17 as we are?
Let us know in the comments.
Hmm.
And don't forget to check out the trailer. It's a must-see.
And if you're loving these deep dives into pop culture, hit that like button and subscribe to AIPOP for more.
We'll be back soon with another mind-blowing exploration of all things awesome.
Until then, stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop asking questions. See you next time.